Okay, so again, we've got Facebook on the phone today, and we have YouTube on the iPad. Thank you for tuning in. Today's another installment of Last Week Today Live, and I'm playing with my iPad just a little bit because I recognize that the angle is not the best. But yeah, I think this is what we're going to be working with today. Um, Today's going to be a shorter video. Um, Reason being is I didn't have any pickups today. No LCS visits, no mail calls. I had one item come in the mail. It's going to be a video for later in this week, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And reading wise, to be honest with you, I've been so busy, still kind of getting over whatever this cold or cough is. Not quite sure yet. I've been so busy I haven't really read a whole lot. But let's do this. I'll do a little bit out of order of how I usually do it. No, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to go right into the news then. Okay. So I wrote down a couple news items. One extra just because, again, as I said, I have a little bit of a shorter agenda today. First item, the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness tickets are now on sale, and the pre-sales are very, very strong. I believe that they are actually record-setting. I don't have the exact number, but I think that's still kind of interesting considering that we're still very much in this pandemic. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. I'm not somebody who's rushing to go back to the movie theaters anytime soon, especially with HBO and Disney Plus putting out these movies relatively quickly. I know that Batman is coming out on the 19th. I haven't heard anything yet as far as an official release date as far as Disney Plus goes for Doctor Strange. Hey, Remy Q, thank you for joining. Um, but as I said, I'm not going to be somebody rushing to the movie theater and with good reason. Look, I've got a little guy upstairs. I'm trying to keep healthy and keep safe. I still haven't seen Spider-Man yet. I figured I would maybe rent it if Disney says, "Hey, we're going to show Doctor Strange on Disney Plus coming Memorial Day weekend." Like I'm trying to wait until the very last minute because I figured that's when, like right after that, the price will go down. I'm one who doesn't like. Oh, hey Brian. I'm one who doesn't like spending extra money if I don't have to, especially when it comes to things like movies and TV and entertainment. I already pay a ton of money to FiOS, and yeah, anywhere I could save or anywhere that it's just kind of included, I'm all for. Um, okay, topic number two I have. Recently, and this was actually an item from last week. I don't think I actually got to touch on it. If I did, oh well, you'll hear me on it again. Um, the Batman released unused footage of the Joker. I can't think of the actor's name, but I thought he did a fairly good job. The scene itself, I did watch the scene. I haven't seen the film yet, of course, but I did watch the clip. And it is the actor, one of the actors from Eternals, and he does just a very, very different take. Not totally different. It kind of felt like it was in the same vein as The Dark Knight, but more Hannibal Lecter-ish. It kind of got that Silence of the Lambs vibe just from that little clip. Again, I haven't seen the film myself. I think I have a pretty good idea of the context it fits into it. But one thing that kind of had my head scratching a little bit, I know that anytime a movie's filmed, there is unused footage and bonus footage, and usually it's something that's really not needed or just something extra or that hinders the story. In a case like this, and again, noting I haven't seen the film yet, and I know that it's like almost 3 hours long. Why do you think that they would have cut this part with such a big character like the Joker? Is it something that perhaps they planned just to be like, oh, we're going to just show this as a bonus footage after the fact? Or was it genuinely something that just didn't fit into the plot of the film? Again, I didn't see the film, so I don't quite know. Either way, I do hope to see that actor appear as the Joker again in the future. He seemed like he did a really great job in just that little scene. It was very creepy. I liked it very, very much. If you're just tuning in, thank you again for joining. This is Last Week Today, my weekly-ish live show. I have a shorter agenda this week because I didn't do a whole lot of reading. We'll get to that in a second. I didn't have any pickups yet this week. So I just kind of jumped into the news. Again, it is going to be a shorter agenda. Um, the next item I have not been following up with the Devil's Reign series at all. But from what I understand, in the penultimate issue, which just came out, Luke Cage is running for mayor of New York City. I think this is really interesting. Again, I haven't read Devil's Reign myself, so I couldn't tell you about the story. I'm just waiting for it to hit the Marvel Unlimited app, to be honest with you. I haven't read Daredevil since Mark Waid got off. And for me at the time, I remember picking up a couple of the issues post Secret Wars. I think that was Charles Soule's run. And Soule is generally a writer rather that I really like and appreciate. His run just wasn't connecting for me. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I really think Mark Waid had a great run. Especially, I think he went in there doing a great job. I mean, he had to take it in drastically different direction. Think about this. Bendis had a great run, but it was very dark. Brubaker continued with that darker run. It was more, I should say, gritty, in my opinion. And then that Shadowland run after that, that was as dark as you can get. You've got, and I'm spoiling it if you haven't read the story, but you have, I don't even think this is a big spoiler at this point, you have Daredevil basically becoming the leader of the Hand, and a lot of the street-level heroes teaming up to put him down. I remember established a new Hand headquarters right in the heart of New York City, and it definitely took the character into a darker area, but it was so dark, it's like you needed a little bit of space, a little bit of room to breathe. And that's why I think Waid was perfect to come over after that, because you saw a more lighthearted type of Daredevil. He was out of New York City, and it was very, I don't want to say carefree, because it did have its moments, but it was perfect. It was like the antithesis of everything that had been building up to that point. And Chris Samnee's art on that was terrific as well. It fit the tone of the story perfectly. I personally like the second volume of Waid's run more than the first. But I'm interested in seeing, of course, what you guys say too. If you've read that run, what are your thoughts? But getting back to I haven't really read Daredevil since then. It is a character that I like. I did, I think, read a couple of Zdarsky's single issues on Marvel Unlimited, and I really did like what I saw. It's just, again, my pulls are too big. Need more time to sit down and really read through it. Getting back to Luke Cage, I think that's an interesting take, seeing a character run for mayor of New York City. It's nothing that hasn't been done before as far as a superhero running for public office, even in What Ifs. But I'm interested to see where they take it. I don't know if the election itself is drawn out or if they wrap it up in that issue. And I imagine that they have to draw it out. But I'd really be interested in seeing if he runs and loses. And then it'd be like the people of New York want Kingpin in charge. I think that'd be an interesting take. But that's just my opinion. Again, I haven't read the series myself, so I don't know if that's just jumping the shark completely. The last item I have in my news today, just kind of following up. Again, I haven't seen the Morbius film. I know we've been speaking about it a little bit on this show in particular. Critics hated it. It seems like everyday movie watchers I see going from terrible to great. The positive reviews I heard about it akin at something closer to like a late 80s, early 90s vampire film. And that's kind of the vibe, to be honest with you, that I got from the trailer. The one thing I am hearing, even from people who hated it, they're saying that Matt Smith was tremendous. Again, I'm just going to have to wait until it's on HBO or any of the streaming services or whatnot. But I'm kind of curious to see if they're really making concerted effort to fit Morbius and Venom in with the upcoming Spider-Man films, Madam Webb and Craven. I haven't heard too much about Madam Webb. I know they cast Dakota Johnson. That was about it. That's all I've heard. I kind of don't know what to expect from that series. I don't go too deep with Spider-Man during that time period, to be honest with you. So my reference to Madam Web is just whatever was on the Fox series. So if you guys have seen that, let me know. Because, again, I don't go deep at all with them. Craven I'm excited for. Again, I know Craven mostly from the cartoon. I, of course, know the character. I've read a couple of great arcs with him in it. The most recent coming to mind was during Dan Slott's run. I know that sounds ancient at this point, but I haven't been following Spider-Man since Slott was out either. I've been reading it online. I didn't care for Spencer's, and I haven't given the current writer, whose name escapes me, any time to read it yet, to be honest with you. But the Craven movie has me interested. It sounds like it's got a good cast. I don't know the actor's name who is appearing as the Chameleon. I know that he played Christopher Moltisanti's father in the Sopranos film. Bad film, but he did a great job in that. So I'm interested in seeing what kind of edge he brings into that. If he brings it some sort of, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, like an underworld authenticity to that. And again, if they are going to link them together, Morbius, Venom, Madam Webb, and Craven, I'm interested in seeing exactly how they address everything. Is Craven going to be hunting Morbius? I think that'd be interesting. And Craven is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I don't know why. He looks so goofy. Yeah, I don't have faith in Sony's movies, to be honest with you. I've only seen, of those, I'll be honest with you, I've only seen the first Venom film. And it was kind of basically like these reviews were saying for Morpheus. As a film alone, it was terrible, but, you kind of have to take a Venom factor, I guess, for lack of a better description, into account. And for that, I think it did an okay job with the character. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but it did feel, at least to me, like a late 80s, early 90s kind of action horror film. Zeb Wells, yeah. And I like Wells' work in general. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did Hellions under the X-Men. And to be honest with you, I thought that was one of, if not probably the best, no, I'm going to say one of that first kind of Krakoan age wave of X-Men titles. That was one I was surprised that nobody tried to reboot or take again into this next wave. But knowing them, we'll probably see another volume come out relatively soon. But yeah, I'd really like to see if Sony is truly making that concerted effort to tie in Morbius, Madam Web, Venom, and Craven. I think that'd be interesting. And just like I said, just looking at Venom, looking at Craven maybe hunting down Morpheus, I think that'd be a good idea. But I don't know, maybe they'll save that for a sequel. So those are the news items I have. I am going to go on to what I read. Again, I didn't really read too much this week. I am finishing up the Northlanders trade paperbacks. If you're unfamiliar, this is a historical anthology series. This one is volume 6. There's 7 in total. Written by Brian Wood. I was introduced to this series kind of accidentally. From time to time, I will buy dollar issues off of Instagram. And one of them just stuck out to me for some reason. I think it was called Northlanders, the Green Knight. I picked it up. I really liked the series. I do generally enjoy historical comics, but you don't really get to see them too much. And generally when they come out, to be honest with you, in my opinion, they're not the best done. My favorite of all time, as far as historical-based comics go, is Britannia from Valiant. A little... if you're unfamiliar with it, the best way I could say is imagine you have Batman, but he's a Roman soldier during the decline of the Roman Empire. Very interesting series. I think there's 3 volumes all in all. I don't know if they've got it collected. I imagine that they do. But great artwork, great writing, very different. And it's something that I hope Valiant kind of brings back or does another installment of. I think it's all written by Peter Milligan, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yeah, I was introduced to these, as I said, through dollar issues, and I enjoyed it so much so I went to see if there was anything collected, and I found all 7 volumes very cheap on Facebook Marketplace. So I've been slowly reading, and I'm almost done with them. I read all of Northlanders Metal, and these are all anthology stories. So you're not following one character through 7 volumes. You're following several characters through each kind of era, I guess you could say, of Nordic history, and definitely very interesting, very different. You've got a bunch of different artists, but notably so, Fiona Staples kind of jumped in during Volume 5, which is during Metal, I guess you could say. And yeah, it's definitely a great read, definitely interesting. You know, again, it's not your superhero story. I would say, if I had to compare it to anything, it's like 300, but not as stylized and not as action packed, because you do have there are some gruesome battle scenes. Don't get me wrong, but it's more story driven than action driven, if that makes sense. So I did finish volume 5 and volume 6, which is Thor's Daughters. The Siege of Paris, by the way, one of the stories in here, I highly recommend. Really interesting, really great. And I am almost done with the final volume, called the Icelandic Trilogy. I have 2 more chapters left. And yeah, Brian, since you're here, I'll tell you that when I'm done with this, I intend on donating all 7 volumes to the awards. So once I'm done, and I'm going to try to put together some other things as well, just so save on shipping. I'll pack everything up and get that over to you. Which interesting too, I found with this series that was a surprise to me. I'm generally not a big fan of Brian Wood. I haven't been exposed to a whole lot of his work. I know that he finished up Generation X with Warren Ellis, the first volume at least. When that was ending, that's kind of where the gap in my Generation X collection is. That's a whole nother topic. I have not read DMZ yet. I do intend on seeing the TV show on HBO Max. It's one of those things we haven't gotten to yet. I did not enjoy his X-Men run. I thought he had a couple interesting ideas, but it just didn't take off for me, to be honest with you. That's one of the few times I dropped the series. So really, like I said, I'm a little bit behind. That is all I read this week. I only received 1 item in the mail, and I can't show it to you yet because it is the subject of my video this week. I'm going to have a CGC unboxing. Let me tell you something. This has been the longest wait I've ever had for a CGC item. I purchased this January of last year. That's right, last year. It was a variant from a store, and they offered to from an online store. And I'm not saying it now because I'll let you watch the video. There's my little tease. Oh, my mom's watching. Hey, Mom. I'm just babbling in my basement for a little bit. As I was saying, it was a store variant I bought last year, and they said, for a little extra, we can have it signed and graded and sent right to you. I swear I thought that the advertisement for it said they were guaranteeing 6 weeks, but 6-week turnaround, but I have not seen that. I haven't seen that anywhere yet. Looking back at the listing, because as I said, I just got this back maybe 3 days ago, so we're over a year. But that's not the focus of the video itself. The focus is going to be more of whose fault is it? Is it the store's fault? Is it the artist's fault? Is it my fault? I'm going to give you a little spoiler. It's not my fault, in my opinion at least. I don't know. Watch it and tell me differently. Is it the artist's fault, or is it CGC's fault? There was a couple of inconsistencies I found with the store and with CGC, but I'm not going to give too much away. I do have another CGC item that is coming today, actually, and I'm kind of keep checking just because we are getting some very heavy rains in the area right now, so I don't want that package to be sitting out there. That's from my George Perez signature series submission. You may have seen that video about a month or 2 ago. And I do have one more item out there with CGC. As I said, well, you didn't see it yet, but I said it in this video that's coming up. After doing that one George Perez window bag, I just kind of got hooked and wanted to do a couple. So one of my bigger items, I wouldn't say it's going to be the most expensive item in my collection, but it's definitely up there. Yeah, no, Remy Q, I understand. 6 weeks plus additional, yeah. Oh, that's for CGC right now? I mean, I knew CBCS was that far behind, but not CGC. Yeah, CBCS I had an item with, and at the time I thought that the turnaround was like 7 months, and then as soon as they received it, I saw it go from 7 months to over a year. So I think at this point I should be getting it back in June. But that's another story entirely. Yeah, I do have another item out there with CGC. It's part of the Signature Series, a recent Signature Series. It is a high-priced item. I actually bought it right off the shelf when it came out, and it's a more modern book. So I'm really excited to see how they came back on. I don't want to give out too many details, like I said, because it's something I'm really excited about. I am looking to participate in the Hubert, Percy, Casara signature series that's coming up in May. I don't quite know what I want to send yet. I'm still kind of deciding. And I think Artgerm is doing another signing, but with Artgerm, I have so many great covers. Oh, thanks for checking in, Brian. No problem. Good luck with the vet. You have a good day, too, and a good weekend. I'm wrapping up shortly myself here, too. With Artgerm, there's just so many great covers, and I kind of having a little trouble deciding what I want to send in. So we'll see. But anyway, that was my video for this week. As I said, a little bit shorter because I didn't have a pickup, and there wasn't really that too many big news items this week. But regardless, I thank you for taking the time to check out my channel and to tune in with me. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend, the rest of your week, whatever you're going to do, and make the most of your day. You know, I'm only took up a little bit of your Saturday. Hopefully, you can take some of that time back to do something great with your family, or even just for collecting. Regardless, thanks again for checking out. Appreciate you for taking a look. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.